Alrighty, hello everybody, Chris Campbell in the leather shop. Tonight I have a request to make a gun holster. So we've already cut out the pattern for the gun holster. We're using veg tan leather. So what we're going to do is mark our design and go in and fill in the design. And then once everything is complete, we're going to come back, bring it up. We'll punch our holes into the piece and stitch it up. Refinish everything, but that's part what we're going to be working on. Right now this one is almost complete, so I've already punched the holes for the stitching. I've also marked my lines for the pattern. I've already cut this piece out from the same bar stock leather as the holster itself, and now what we're going to do is go ahead and get it prepped for our stamping pattern and then finish. So I'm going to use just a little bit of water. And we're going to make sure that this one soaks it up pretty good. We want to make sure that the water gets absorbed into the leather. And you'll see here in a moment when it starts to change back. Okay. Now for this particular pattern, what I'm going to be using is this 3-prong leaf pattern. Alright, so we're going to line it up here in the corner, right here. And now we're going to bring and we'll put this one here. This one can take a little bit more time, because what we're doing is doing what they call an offset pattern. So let me get it lined up on that one. And then what we're going to do is go back in and fill in the pieces that we didn't fill. It's going to look a little funky, but it's the way that this pattern design is to look. It's a broken up pattern. So and now I'm going to finish up my lines and then come back to the other part. This particular pattern is one that I would not have chosen for many reasons. One, to me it's tacky. Another is that to me it just doesn't look sentimental or metrical, and it really has no purpose, I would say. But this is what the customer wanted, and so I'm obliged to do as the customer wishes. But as far as beauty, I don't think so. Okay. So that's pretty much the pattern, if you want to call it that. I do not like this particular pattern. I'm glad he does not want that on the front. It would definitely make this look awful. Luckily, this will not be seen by human eyes because it's going to be inside the belt. But that's just one of the parts that we were going to do. This is the strap. This is actually one of our other pieces that we just did in the other video, where we did the double keychain, where The keychain goes up like so, and you have the loop. This is the same material that we used before we dye it. We cut the round end, square off one end, and then we punch the 2 holes and then 1 hole. Well, this one is going to be the strap for the gun holster. So we've already cut it down the sides, punched our 4 holes in, rounded off the other edge, and then we're going to finally stamp or put a hole in it so that we can put the button punch into it. We're also going to do a border, and on this one we're going to do something similar as a belt, so that will stay in our next video, so stay tuned. Okay, so we've already put our horseshoe style punch around the border here. Now we're going to fill it in on this side like so. Okay. And now we'll come over here. All right. So now we have that piece finished. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and finish it and set it to the side. So I'm going to use my die, and we're just going to put this on here, let it sit, and we'll come back to this at a later time when we've had a chance to let it cure. So we're going to get the sides all the way around. And now we'll do the back. Alrighty. So we'll come back to that now. And we're going to let that set, and we're going to take it over to the side until it's good and dry, and come back to it. Now what we're going to do is work on this piece, which is our belt strap. And stay tuned as I get this prepped and set up for the next video. Alrighty, so now we're going to go ahead and wet this piece and get it prepped for stamping. So we're just going to make sure that it gets good and wet so that it will allow the stamping pattern to pierce the leather. All right. We're going to be using a half moon crescent punch. And to start, we're going to put it right here at the border. And then work our way around. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here and do the same. Alright, now I'm going to switch sides. And now we'll come and do this side. Perfect. Okay. So we have that pattern stamped into our strap. And now what I'm going to do is come back through this and do another intricate little pattern, and that will finish that piece up. All right, stay tuned. Alrighty. So what I have done here is gone ahead and mark the holes for the belt, and I'm going to be using this adjustable hole punch. So I'm going to go ahead and line up my hole punch, pop it through. We're going to do the same with the next one. That one didn't go quite through. And that one didn't go quite through either, so well, that's a good reason you have to make sure that you keep your bits sharp. All right. Alright, so for some reason we have two that didn't. There we go. Alright. Now we're going to do the top side. So make sure I get my hole lined up. Alrighty. Making leather products can be so satisfying, rewarding, and relaxing all at the same time. Sometimes when I'm stressed or not feeling it, I'll usually come to the shop late at night and work on a project that I've been meaning to work on for a while, or make something new as a creative, and then start using it and publishing it. I've actually come up with several ideas, and that's where a lot of my inspiration comes from. Alright, so we now have the holes punched. So when everything is said and done, this will go here. And this piece will go here. And all three pieces will be sewn together. This piece will come around. And I'm going to show you how it will look. If I can hold it with my hands. Okay. So, when it's all said and done, this will be the way it'll work. So we'll have our punch, we'll have our strap, and this will be a complete holster. All right. Now we're going to place this over to the side. We won't be using that for right now, but I do want to show you this piece. So beforehand, in my other video, I was recording and thought it was recording, and it didn't quite get recorded. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and finish up our pattern. And the pattern that we're using is, here we go. It looks like a railroad stake pattern. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and place it here. And here. Now, I will say, I'm sure a lot of you are probably wondering what type of gun is going to be going into the holster. The customer has a Public Defender made by Taurus, which is a 45 long Colt, 410 3-inch shotgun shell or slug. So that's what he's going to be toting in this holster. Now I'm just getting this all finished up. Perfect. And that is now ready for dyeing. I'm just going to dry it off. But you can now see the neat design all the way through. Now the only thing that is left to do is go ahead and punch the hole here, put our rivet in place for our button pin, and tan it. And then we're going to go ahead and dye it. And then we'll polish it up. So stay tuned for that video. Alright, so now we're ready to put in our snap button. I'm getting it marked here. And now I'm just going to go in and make a scribe. Perfect. Now we'll put our hole punch, work it around. All right. So that is our hole. And what I'm going to do is make it just a tad bit bigger. Let's see. We'll go with this one. Make sure that we get it opened up all the way. All right. Much nice. Okay. And then we will put this piece in here. All right. Now what I want to do is try out. Okay, so that would go there. Okay. Now to do this particular rivet set, I'm going to be using a special tool. And I wish my workbench was much more organized than this. I always keep a neat workbench. And we will. Okay. it. Okay, this is why I do not like when people are working at my workbench. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back. So, we now have my rivet. And so now what we're going to do is go ahead and rivet into place. Let's see, I have to use this one. Perfect. Alrighty. And now alright, so now we have our piece riveted into place. And so now all that is left is to refinish. So stick around for that next video as I get everything ready for that. Alrighty everybody, so we're back now. And what we're going to do is go ahead and dye our strap. I've already done the back side. And so now we're going to do the front side. So we're going to get some dye on our brush. Come over. And then what I'm going to do is let it sit for a little bit, come back, polish it off. And she will be ready for waxing and drying. Alright, so that is that part. That is the back. And it'll end up looking about like this when we are through. So stay tuned for that part here shortly.